All right, let's just jump right into this. Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to completely flip the script on what it actually takes to build real, resilient wealth. We're constantly fed this narrative that getting rich means you've got to be some tech visionary or a literal genius. But today, we're unpacking a brilliant source that proves, well, the exact opposite. We're diving deep into the hidden economy of unglamorous work, the boring business blueprint. So, if you want to know how everyday people are quietly building absolute financial freedom while everyone else is chasing the next flashy trend, you are in exactly the right place. Here's the roadmap for today. We're going to uncover the secret to real wealth, break down the boring business blueprint, highlight 3 massive mistakes you need to avoid, help you find your perfect fit, and finally, talk about why choosing action over perfection is everything. Part 1. The secret to real wealth, uncovering the hidden millionaire next door. So, I want you to stop and just think for a second. Picture the people in your own neighborhood right now who are maybe 45 or 50 years old and simply do not depend on a paycheck anymore. They've got absolute freedom. But honestly, nobody around them even knows it. They don't look like billionaires on a magazine cover, right? They just look like regular folks. So, how exactly did they pull it off? Well, here's the kicker. What they didn't do is invent the next blockbuster tech app. They definitely didn't open a trendy, high-risk downtown restaurant, and they for sure didn't launch a venture-backed Silicon Valley startup. Instead, what they actually did was pick the most boring business imaginable. Seriously, they run things so remarkably simple that you and I probably walk right past them on the street without a second glance. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that their secret isn't a brilliant idea. You really don't need to be a creative genius. It's all about identifying very specific, unglamorous categories that almost nobody considers a real business opportunity. I mean, people ignore them entirely because they just aren't flashy. But while everyone else is distracted trying to look impressive, these hidden millionaires are quietly capturing massive local demand and cashing in big time. Moving on to part 2. The boring business blueprint. 25 unglamorous paths to freedom. 4 million. Let that sink in. That is the kind of massive, built-in demand we're talking about here. To give you just one example from the source material, there were over 4 million home transactions in the US in 2025 alone. And guess what? Every single one of those buyers needs a pre-purchase home inspection before closing. Sure, it requires a certification up front, but once you have it, you're getting paid for just a few hours of visually checking a roof and some plumbing. That demand is already there, it's practically guaranteed, and it's literally just waiting for someone reliable to step up and fill it. And this brings up one of my absolute favorite takeaways from the source text. Not a single one of these businesses depends on a booming economy. They are incredibly resilient. Think about it. A pool still needs chemical checks during a recession. Otherwise, it turns green and completely wrecks the filtration system. An air conditioner still breaks down in the summer heat. Septic tanks still need pumping. No matter what the stock market is doing, these essential, super boring services just have to get done. So let's break this down into a structured landscape of opportunity. First off, you've got low capital options, under $3,000. We're talking mobile car detailing, junk removal, pool maintenance. Your main cost here is really just your time and sweat, not some expensive storefront. Then you've got medium capital, right around $10,000 to $30,000. That's where stuff like dumpster rentals and snow removal live. You buy the equipment, and the equipment basically does the heavy lifting for you. And finally, for those with high people skills, there's estate sale organizing, notary services, small property management. Just look at how incredibly diverse these unglamorous opportunities really are. There is absolutely a specific path for almost any skill set. I want to pause here and ask you the exact same question the source material poses. How many of these businesses have you personally hired without ever even thinking about who was behind them? Seriously, you've probably hired a local mover, an appliance repair tech, or maybe a gutter cleaner. You paid them, they did the job, and you probably never realized that you were funding an incredibly profitable, highly resilient business model. All right, part 3. 3 mistakes to avoid. Traps that sink new business owners. Now, these common traps are entirely avoidable if you know what to look for. First up, folks often choose a business based on profit margins instead of real local demand. I mean, it doesn't matter how profitable pool maintenance is on paper if you live in a town where literally nobody owns a pool. You've got to verify local demand first. Second, competing on price from day one instead of on reliability. If a client hires you just because you're the cheapest, they're going to drop you the second they find someone even $1 cheaper. You have to compete by showing up on time and doing the job right. And the third mistake? Failing to turn one-off clients into recurring contracts.
That third point is so crucial. We actually need to break down the exact sequence to secure true freedom here. Step 1, finish a one-off job with exceptional reliability and speed. Step 2, build trust by simply doing the job right the very first time. Step 3, pivot that trust right then and there to secure a recurring monthly or seasonal contract. The goal here is that you aren't waking up every single Monday having to frantically chase brand new clients. Whether it's an annual gutter cleaning contract or weekly commercial linen rentals for local hotels, recurring revenue is ultimately what buys back your time. Part 4. Finding your perfect fit, matching your resources to the right opportunity. Okay, to cut through all the noise, let's look at what you're working with. If you have under $3,000 to start, you're looking at ventures that rely heavily on your time and sweat equity. Think becoming a locksmith or cleaning pools. Your main investment is just learning the trade. Now, if you have between $10,000 and $30,000, you can shift gears into ventures that rely more on equipment, like dumpster rentals or contract snow removal. Sure, these take more cash up front, but eventually they require way fewer direct hours of physical labor from you. But hey, what if you're just not into physical labor at all? Actually, don't sweat it, there's a path for you too. Businesses like small property management and estate sale organizing rely entirely on your reliability and your people skills. Your value in these roles lies in managing other people's time well, like dealing with late-night tenant calls or helping a grieving family auction off an estate. It requires absolutely zero heavy lifting, but it pays incredibly well because you're solving complex emotional and logistical problems for folks. Finally, part 5. Choosing action over perfection, the illusion of Silicon Valley wealth.
I want you to listen to this powerful insight from Morgan Housel. He says, boring, steady, predictable money almost always beats exciting money, because exciting money depends on your luck holding out, and boring money only depends on you continuing to show up. This brilliantly captures the entire theme of our explainer today. Flashy startups, yeah, they're exciting, but they rely so heavily on luck and timing. A septic tank pumping business? Completely boring, but it relies purely on your willingness to just show up and do the work.
Let's see how this actually plays out in the real world by comparing two people from our source text. First, we have Daniel. Daniel bought all the online courses, waited for the perfect flashy idea, and researched endlessly. 5 years later, he is still earning $58,000 in a cubicle, just waiting for the right moment. Then we have Alex. Alex bought some basic used equipment with his savings, knocked on doors on the weekends, and took messy, imperfect action by starting a pool cleaning business while keeping his day job. And check out the staggering result of Alex's consistent action, $140,000. Within just a year and a half, Alex quit his office job entirely. Today, he manages 3 routes, has 2 employees under him, and takes home over $140K a year. Plus, he works way fewer hours than he did in the office because he no longer has to personally show up to every single pool. So the real takeaway from Daniel and Alex is this. The difference between them wasn't intelligence. I mean, they had access to the exact same internet and the same books. The difference was simply the willingness to start something totally unimpressive, something that definitely does not sound cool at a dinner party, and stick with it long enough for it to stop being boring and start being wildly profitable. Honestly, the discomfort of doing the unglamorous work is the exact barrier to entry that keeps your competition away. Which brings us to the end of our explainer, and I have a question I want you to seriously think about. Out of those 25 boring businesses, which one surprised you the most today? Have you started to realize you might be sitting on a gold mine of local opportunity? And more importantly, which one are you actually thinking about starting? It's time to stop waiting for that revolutionary tech idea and start building real, predictable wealth. Drop your thoughts in the comments, take that messy first step, and as always,